work out very, very early on, and it feels like this Liquid team is built to win. It feels like this is now their time to really make something happen. So, do Team Liquid finally win Map 2 and go right into Phase 2 of Copenhagen, or do Los1 equalize these things and we go to Border or for Map 3? Gentlemen, have fun.
A question we are looking to answer right now, Jacob. John, this one's going to be interesting because Team Liquid are sitting on the edge of victory, on the edge of a ticket to Copenhagen. I mean, they might as well have booked the tickets already. They just need to find them in, maybe get them sent to them or forwarded to them, get the receipt. I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going with that. The point is, they are so close. They are so very close. And I think for Los1, they need to go absolutely bonkers here on Oregon if they want to go to bank, if they want to see the end of what could be an impressive series.
I am surprised to see the kind of operator bans we have for Liquid. Having a Capitao removed is really going to improve the potency of a Mira, especially for the basement floor. So it doesn't surprise me that Ryze will be insta-locking that operator. And also the Jaeger, it is going to force almost a requirement of having Wamai brought on a lot of these defensive rounds, or just bringing out other stall-focused operators like a Goyo, for example, who's a lot more potent on the top floor of kids in dorms. But maybe having those, ADSs off the board, that could allow for more frag grenades and also Candelas, since the Ying, shockingly, hasn't been banned. And she is a fantastic spearhead when attacking on this map because how effective she is at enabling an execute to work. You can create so much space with those Ying flashes where you can just simply walk into the bomb site and plant because of those Candelas providing enough coverage. So not only am I, not surprised to see Ryze, for example, on the Mira because of a Capitao ban, I'm also not surprised to see Maya on the Warden because of that heavy emphasis we're probably going to see for Ying.
Yeah, Capitao, I think this is the first time we have seen him banned at all this stage in the Brazil League. I'm looking at the numbers now, and I don't have it on record that he has been taken off the board like this before. I do have it on record, though, that Ying has been banned 11 times. Ying is the most common ban, so the fact that she is available for play here, especially to start things out for Team Liquid, that is spooky if you're Los1. That is not a very friendly sight. Those Candelas, the smokes that she brings, as you said, John, this could get dangerous very quickly for this Los1 defense, especially here on the basement. Yes, the early round is going to play out nice and slow. Team Liquid likely still to take this map control nice and methodically, but once they do, the Ying is not all about getting in the building fast. It's about getting in the site fast, about spearheading that execute, and it's something that they'll try to make happen after Nesk gets into the foray. You see him, a couple of bullets sent towards Dash here on the stairs. Shotgun at this range should be strong enough for the smoke, and I think that's why we're seeing Nesk take a quick step back.
Habana here as well, getting ready to open up that hatch, could maybe trap two of these defenders, and Paluh, he's just down below. He catches Mai on the rotate. Thankfully, there's a trade by Loban, but still having this hatch opened up will also force back the rest of Los1, and that's the warding gone as well, Jonah. These stuns, these smokes, and these Candelas are going to be tenfold in terms of potency now because of his loss.
Yeah, I think that's also why Volp is going to play a little bit more passive in that gunfight. Really did not want to give up his life. Had you lost the Ying there, it's a very different story. But with the Ying alive, with this E-box hatch open, with Tower, a very viable place to push from now, this could get interesting. We're seeing the use of the mirror windows here very creatively by Ryze, one that you don't almost ever see. We have one looking into E-box from Harry Potter. That means Liquid, if they want to drop there, likely need to clear out that pillar's side first. And right now, they're going to try to make that happen into Elbow, into this site from the construction side as their initial approach.
The Toxic Babe deployed. So much utility burned away, and Neska's just down Freezer. How did this happen?
They knew it, though. They knew it. Ryze had a perfect beat on his position and shut him down quickly. Los1 have retaken this advantage, and Lagonis, he's not going to be able to find any purchase from this pillar side either. Liquid, they have to get aggressive here because Los1 are smartly backing off. Volps will do that, but with only 10 seconds, there is so much more distance to cover. Rise is going to hold down this angle. He's still got a nitro cell in his pocket. Plant's going down, but should that matter? Probably not. There's the angle. It's too much for Liquid to handle, and Los won. They will lock things down on the basement, taking the opener.
Luckily, having the smoke rotate from Freezer to back up the rest of that attack that was still lingering over by Bunker was the right call. He wasted so much time just sitting there. It allowed the rest of his teammates to also focus a little bit more on getting that trade by Freezer, because Ness just put himself in the middle of Freezer somehow after like 20 seconds flat. On top of that, Los won winning that engagement on, I believe it was the Ying, who was playing over by Pillar. That was also oh so impactful, because you also have to be concerned about someone trying to flank from that hallway, on top of, because Nesk is dead, he also cannot watch that cutoff angle too, so you're susceptible to a lot more positions that Los One can use to deny that default plant, and you only have one person defending your planter from 3 separate areas, someone looking through Freezer, someone pushing in supply, someone that could be down Pillar, and even, once again, Elbow, that was never given up by the smoke. Luckily with Los One, being able to halt a majority of those attacking pushes by Liquid, both from Freezer and Laundry, it was enough to allow them to hold on against that default attack from E-Box and Blue Bunker.
Well, the defensive setup was far from default, the word you just used, John, because we saw that mirror window set up facing E-Box from that tower side. Now, most of the time, those black mirrors, you're going to see one on the Freezer wall, and you're going to see one on the closet wall. So you can pretty much straight up deny any sort of dual Laundry-sided take from the bottom of those main stairs and from the Freezer side with those mirror windows. It would take a lot of utility for the attackers to clear those positions out. Instead, we saw Los One change it up, throw a mirror window on that Pillar side to assist in the take that Liquid ended up trying to get going. Once they identified that, they had to slow things down and take a beat, figure out how they wanted to rotate. That's why we saw them try to push in through blue into construction, and that's when we saw the attack backfire. So some creative decision making, some strat making from Los One that ends up paying off. So far so good for them. They're gonna have to turn likely to more gunplay focused here, as they're sitting at a pretty standard site setup this time on dorms.
Got Nesk already by Master. Gonna burn a little bit of utility near that Bolo doorway between both Trophy and the bomb site itself. So a little bit more ground can be covered and a little more utility brought out as well. That nade, shockingly, did not connect on the deployable shield. Just, it caught the tail end of that door frame, and it just a little bit too far away, it seems. So you still have that attic presence being rather strong for Los One. And for Team Liquid's sake, the only thing they've got going for them right now is they can just now get this wall opened up from Closet, and they've got someone big window, but there's Nesk all of a sudden just barging in.
Yeah, Nesk and Lagonas each go for one, and now Dots is being flashed out, removed from play. Loban getting lit up. He finds one, but is it going to matter? It's a 2v4. Loban has been isolated from the site, and his position is known. Dash, he's been cut off by his own Vulcan canister. Almost nothing that Los One can do here. The fire stalling out Dash, giving him almost no options in how he wants to approach this one. Liquid, the bomb's not down, so in theory, Dash could have stayed there for a while, but he'll end up dying because, well, he got chased down with a bearing 9 in hand. A nice little rush, rather just a quick site execute there from Liquid that Los One were not expecting. Not a full-out rush, but Nesk looking for an opportunity, and once he saw that opening, took advantage, jumped right into attic, and the rest is history.
I suppose after all the utility was burned away from that Bolo door, and because you had an opening from the closet wall, that does give enough room for Nesk to hop in from Trophy and just kind of walk into sight and challenge the guy at it. That's not really a bad idea at all, especially since the wall in attic was fully reinforced. So it didn't take Nesk very long to get into Trophy Room. That's usually the obstacle that teams will have to struggle with nowadays, is if the attic walls open up and no one's pushing in from big tower, they're going to have to confront this attic player a lot more proactively and probably from several different angles, because Nesk can just walk into Trophy essentially for free. And again, the rest of their clear, it's going according to plan, and there's no more utility to force him back. He can just go into sight. He wins that 1-for-1 gunfight. Now the rest of his teammates are backing him up both from attic and the below doorway he just walked in from. And again, you still have that cutoff angle in case you want to go for a plant. So honestly, a really good heads-up play by Ness to kind of spearhead that round.
Paluh reattempting this top floor site now, seeing what they can do to remedy the issues they had, just staying a little bit more on top of whatever's happening on the site. That'll be vital for their success here. Someone like Loban, who was late to rotate back, someone like Dash, who also got cut off from the site, just need to see that tidy up just a touch from Loban. Once that call goes out that someone is near the objective, maybe that's when we need to see Loban either commit to the rotate or commit to keeping someone downstairs with a nitro cell in hand. In this case, it's only Dash with that C4, but in a position to potentially change the course of the round if this bottom floor is not cleared out. It's not cleared out yet. Maya is holding these positions on the stairs, right? Trying to deny the entry here from Team Liquid. And on the other side of things, Dash will deny the entry from Volps, a very good player to take off the board at this stage.
Now that presence by White Stairs could be lacking, if not at least the big window where Volps could have rotated to later in the round if needed or called by Team Liquid. And unfortunately, with the buck of Paluh falling away as Maya was walking up Army Stairs, he couldn't find that micro angle to potentially get a refrag. So it's still the man advantage here for Los1, and they have someone big tower, so they know for a fact no one's pushing in from Attic just yet, as Loban will eliminate him. So they know no one's pushing up White, no one's approaching from big tower. They are limiting the options that Team Liquid have in this final minute 15.
Yeah, Los1 is simply outplaying Team Liquid here, and Liquid, I mean, they're getting themselves into a little trouble in the information game. Their drone work this round has simply not been good enough. A missed drone in small tower and a missed drone in big tower, both of which get them into serious trouble. Paluh will get the kill onto Dash. He did know that was coming. He had the skeleton key in hand, but at what cost? I mean, he's at 1 HP now. It's a 3v4, but really like a 2.5v4, as Paluh is in dire straits when it comes to that HP. But with 45 seconds remaining, Liquid are not going to give this one up just yet.
There's Nest with a nice shot landed. Trying to make an entryway in through Attic as well. Could allow him to cause a bit more chaos, but two bodies stacked up. It'll be such a challenging fight to go for, unless he can wait for Paluh to assist.
He falls off that angle smartly. And as you said, Paluh from below, that's a very nice kill. Doesn't have to worry about the HP if the person you're killing isn't even looking at you. Rise now feeling the pressure from below. He's got to go every which way to avoid the skeleton key, and he can't. Paluh, unfortunately, killing Lagonis now puts him in a 1v1. That's disaster at the last possible moment from Liquid, a round that it looked like they were winning, and now Maya avoiding capture here and letting the time expire. Oh my, an unfortunate turn of events for Liquid. They make the comeback happen after they're down by 1, but then an unfortunate team kill gives Los1 the edge again.
The coordination was really there in the final minute until, like you mentioned, Jonah, that team kill just reared its ugly head and threw everything down the drain that Team Liquid were trying to fight back for. Los1, though, having a really solid start, punishing Team Liquid for not having a lot of info in that early round. Yeah, really threading the needle there. Tragic for Team Liquid. But again, Volps unaware, it seemed, as to where Dash was playing at inside of small tower. And on top of that, Loban, there was no info on him as well playing on top of big tower. The wall was already opened up earlier, so Loban must have pushed back into T3, or he just hid the entire time and kind of forced Team Liquid into a false sense of security. Having those two kills, it really put Team Liquid on the back foot and forced them to readjust completely as to what they were going for. You saw a huge lack of presence over by that closet wall with someone trying to get into Attic instead with the help of Paluh, and also, again, that White Stairs presence, which took a lot of time to build up because there was someone security, and again, because Volps died by small tower.
It happened so fast in the round, I didn't actually know exactly how that team kill transpired, but we saw it in the replay just a moment ago. It was so unfortunate. Paluh was busy getting the kill onto the player he had downed up above, and then just barely, Lagonis had just snuck in front of him coming down the stairs. Oh, that's so tough. You hate to see that. Team Liquid, I mean, they really earned that round. They really fought tooth and nail to make the comeback happen, and then just at the worst moment, disaster strikes and things go the way of Los1. But I mean, certainly Los1 put themselves up the advantage early. They started out that round strong, but just couldn't really close it out in the end. They couldn't hang on to the advantage that they had worked so hard to maintain. Didn't matter in the end, of course, but not as confident of a round for Los One as it looked like it would be at about that halfway point. They'll go back down to the basement now, looking to find that same success they found in round number 1 again.
Maybe Team Liquid noticing there is no Mira on the board. They do not need to bring ranged car destruction and can solely focus on the secondary hatches, or secondary breaches for the hatches, pardon. But trying to remove some of those deployable shields in the late round could be rather taxing since they only have one set of grenades, but Nesk waiting patiently by the bottom of Freezer, smokes Dash, and speaking of which, that is the operator of Smoke, funny enough. Those Toxic Babes completely off the board for Los One, and they're going to have to rely probably on Maya with the Warden a lot more in comparison to having that Smoke in tandem with him.
That's a tough loss for the Los One defense. Not one that I even think Liquid were expecting. Not a kill they were expecting to net so early. Nesk, though, he just read Dash's mind, was holding that pixel angle, and just shut him down immediately. Maya knows this is a big moment for him, needs to fight back. 2 kills, make it 3! Oh my lord, Maya! Dots with another one. Lagonis is now the last player standing here on the Monty. This is pistol in hand, but this is not gonna happen. Nowhere for him to go. He finds 1 kill, that's nice. But I don't know if he's got this one. A Monty in a 1v2, you're gonna have to get some insane pistol kills to win this round against a Los One defense who knows exactly what to expect. You've now got a flank to worry about. Lagonis, you can see he's just too nervous to stick this plant. He's just got to keep looking back and forth. But Los One, they're playing this smart. They're not going to fall into his trap. Sitting back and waiting for Lagonis to make the move. And look at this crossfire they're holding. If Lagonis wants to take this fight, he's got to expose his back to someone. It'll be Loben to eventually get that kill. But it was simply out of time and out of options for Team Liquid in the end. But all on the shoulders of Maya that round. We found a triple kill in Freezer to put Los One on top.
Not only was Maya the catalyst of that round, but I've got to commend Loben as well for utilizing those Kiba barriers so effectively to stop Team Liquid from finding trades as easily, with Maya luckily being able to stop all of Freezer with a nice triple kill. That leaves just your players by laundry room and the one person who's trying to flank bunker last second with a lot of info on his position. With those Kiba barriers deployed, both looking from that little rotate between laundry and supply, looking down Freezer, and also having a couple of other Kibas for laundry room, no one can push in effectively and kind of force back Los One as they're upping the ante and trying to get in the faces of Team Liquid so they can't push deeper into Freezer and get past Los utility they've been saving up to stop a plant from going down, especially since they lost Dash on the entry, who was, again, the smoke, one of the main operators you are going to have for that basement floor to stop and execute. They had to rely solely on Maya and Loben playing effectively together, and they did exactly that. And now Team Liquid, they're at a bit of a disadvantage right now, which isn't too shocking considering they're on the attacking half of Oregon, but the way that Los One have been winning these rounds, I think that's been the bigger point to make of this.
Right, in some of these cases, John, I mean, they're winning them just barely, but in some cases like that, they win it by a landslide. I mean, with Maya just popping off, as you mentioned, Loben, critical use of that utility. I mean, look at the stat line for both of these players right now. Loben 6-2, Maya 4-3. Putting up some pretty good numbers right now for this early start here on Oregon. I mean, right now, Liquid on the other side of things, they're spreading the love a little bit more evenly in terms of the actual kills with their team, but let's not put them in a great spot. We need to see someone like Vulps and someone like Paluh do what they do best, step up and start getting some more early kills here. I mean, frankly, Team Liquid are winning the entry game. They have gotten the opening pick on 3 separate occasions now. Paluh with the first, Nesk with the 2 others, but still they've lost 2 of those rounds where they secured that opener. So here on Oregon, so far, the entry kill is not the end-all, be-all kill. It's not really dictating the course of the round so far. Los One, they've done a great job of fighting back after losing that early edge.
Nice info gathered here by Loben, trying to figure out how many defenders are pushing in from Big Tower. And it seems like that could be something to use later on. Perhaps maybe opting to go for a flank once they realize Big Tower is up for grabs once again, which could be rather soon since you see Nisk falling back down below. gathering a bit more information. It seems like Liquid's still building up where they could attack from effectively to get this ball rolling. That isn't just from the stage. Sure, you can use that entry point to try to force a post-plant position, but with a lack of utility to help cover that plant, only being gun up for that position, they're going to have to opt to go somewhere else. Maybe getting some vertical down, just causing some chaos up above, could be a good way to deter the rest of Los 1.
Lobin, good start. Volps, where is he going? Nesk has now got to be really careful, and he's in such a bad spot for this. He gets the kill, but his teammates crumbling around him. Paluh gets one back in this 1v3, but this little quick execute down Green Hall and into the site has resulted in the diffuser being lost and Paluh being the last person standing against an impressive Los 1 defense, and he will get denied as well. Los 1, they are on a roll. And what we said was a almost necessary 5-1 split for them is only one round away.
And again, the way that Los 1 have been winning these rounds, it's now been fairly lopsided, which probably explains why Team Liquid want to go in for this tech timeout, or at least tactical timeout, not technical pause timeout, hoping that if they win this final round of the first half, they could also at least score a 4-2 half on their defense, proc overtime, or maybe do better on their second half after getting a little bit of momentum towards the, dying breaths of this first half. But Team Liquid, I talked about the lack of opportunities they can have for getting a plant down by stage because they don't have anything like Oza shields or any kind of utility to cover that. So what they do instead is they all try to hop in through green window at the same time and plant by the kitchen doorway. That doesn't sound like a bad idea on paper, but they haven't had any opportunities to clear out kitchen besides just going gun up directly in the faces of Los 1. They had people trying to get onto the top floor to establish vertical, but they were still on the window repels and still by attic window as well, so they didn't even force back the defenders that were up above. And again, no one was by small tower, no one had already cleared out kitchen, and there was still immunity to be concerned about. So the map control for Team Liquid was lackluster in the 5th round, and Los 1 had punished them for that accordingly. And with that being the tertiary bomb site for Los 1, they can actually go back up above to kids in dorms, which when they reattempted that bomb site, it looked top notch. It really seemed like Liquid stood no chance. But to Liquid's credit, that has been the bomb site they have won in this first half so far. So if there was a bomb site they could come back into, it would be this one.
Right. I mean, you got basement now locked off, meeting and kitchen now locked off. So heading back to dorms and kids, not a shocker here for Los 1. They've gone 1-1 on it so far. So they'll be looking to find some of that more recent success to put themselves up 5-1. I mean, what an incredible scoreline right now. I mean, no matter how you spin it, even if Liquid get one more round here, I mean, it's still 4-2. It's still Los 1 with a tremendous advantage. We did say, though, coming into Oregon, that with the defensive success that we know Liquid have had against Los 1 specifically, but throughout the entire group stage and the attacking problems that have plagued Los 1, the second half is likely to be pretty one-sided, but so far, the first half is as well. The perfect formula for Los 1 to take this. So far, it's happening. Of course, they can't punch their ticket to the major just yet. They still have to take things to that bank, that third map, that decider, if they want to do it. But right now, showing us that they want to make it there.
We have to again look at Los 1's performance last time they played Oregon, which was yesterday, and both halves ended out in a 4-2 split. So trying to get that extra chip on their shoulder and make it a 5-1 half starting on the defense, I almost feel like that's going to be a necessity against Team Liquid. Again, they had a really solid first half on Theme Park, and the same thing transponded over on their second half when they were defending. So I could imagine on a more defensive favored map of Oregon, they would probably do just as well as Los 1, if not better. And not only just because of the map being so defender favored, the experience that Team Liquid have on this map against other top contending teams across the entire globe for R6. So again, a point that you made on the desk, really going to harp into that again for Los 1. They need to win this round on kids in dorms, which is again, probably a pretty good reason as to why Team Liquid are opting to go for that timeout, although the first half has almost completely elapsed and moving into the second half. It's because they know if they win this round, they have a solid chance of at the very least proccing overtime, and maybe they don't even have to go to bed.
Oh boy. Liquid. Time to make a stand. Does not look like the Oregon that they were hoping for so far, and doing it now, coming into round number 6. Off the timeout, off the tech pause. It's now time to make something work for them. Lagonis pulling out the Amaru. We got Volps now shifting over to the Twitch as well. This is a lineup that screams a fast execute, that screams a frag-heavy attack. But Liquid, they need to be careful here. Oh no. Los One Dash made a very ballsy choice, but one that pays off. The knife just driving it in deeper to the backs of Team Liquid. The round what they were hoping could be their chance. They lose that opening player seemingly for free. Dash is able to just barely sneak away alive as well. And that is a game changer right there.
Massive upset losing Nesk as well. Your only operator with grenades. Sure, you can make space with those stuns, but potentially working a pick if you clear out that first floor is quintessential for Team Liquid. And after Los One, as they're able to deny that, and like you mentioned, keep Dash alive. We still have that man advantage. It won't last for much longer, though, as Paluh across the map will spot out Lobe until the Orcs is eliminated. A lot of that roaming presence is going to be diminished. But again, at least Dash is alive, so he could still have a C4 and potentially linger a little bit longer down below. So that's still a problem for Team Liquid that they have to assess accordingly. On top of that, the only hard breach they have is resets on the Habana. It seems like he's focused a lot of that breach over across the map by Addict. So could we see a kids execute perhaps for Team Liquid and having someone lurk up Armory instead? I don't think they're going to have enough hard breach to get across over into that closet wall, especially since there's no more pocket EMP. So if there's a mute jammer there, it could be impossible to remove.
Yeah, the lack of secondary hard breach charges from Lagonis is the problem here. Oh, but Los One, that looks far too aggressive for my taste, but they're going to keep taking these fights. They don't want to give any inch to Liquid for free. They're going to make them feel uncomfortable as possible. But with those swings, they're starting to telegraph their positions. They're starting to get uncomfortable themselves. You see the C4 from Dots go up and get wasted. That's going to be a piece of utility they want back, especially as Liquid continue to mount this pressure.
I'm still wondering where Lagonis is going to fit into all of this. He's the one with the diffuser and the Gar hook. Surely he doesn't try to Amaru hook up the kid's hatch and try to plant there. That would be almost impossible if they can't clear out kids effectively with either flashes or someone just getting aggressive by the hatch, or not by the hatch, but by Addict to be the catalyst.
Good call, though. He wants to do it. You see him below this hatch. Paluh getting that kill. It's big. And now, hold on. They're just going to storm the site. It's a triple kill for Paluh. Resets gets one. Lagonis, he does Gara hook up the hatch and gets the bomb down, but it simply doesn't matter. Paluh, a quad, I think that was, to win the round. An insane performance when things look so dire.
And that's all that Team Liquid were looking for. I would assume that opening pick would have happened somewhere a little bit different, but still playing over by big window, having someone at the top of white stairs, it does limit where Los One can play at, on top of still having the Amaru by the hatch. So they know for a fact there's only going to be maybe one or two people between both kids and Addict. Paluh springs up, probably assuming there's one close to big window tucked in that default corner, and he shuts him down. And it just started the trickle for the rest of Team Liquid to hop into the building. Again, the Gara hook adding even more hecticness to that end round. And it worked out perfectly timed by the rest of Team Liquid to play off of Paluh's entry from big window to make sure Los One don't have time to reset. And the timeout, luckily it paid off. They did get that default 2-4 split against Los One, and now they're the ones to go on their defensive half with a boatload of utility. But I'm not surprised. They are starting on the base of war bomb site.
It's so funny, though. I mean, when Liquid had utility, they had the man count going into some of these late rounds, Los One has been able to win it. But in that case, round number 6, Liquid's their back was against the wall from the word go. I mean, the spawn peak death onto Nesk, that's brutal. They were in an awkward spot. You pointed out the lack of utility, the discomfort they were clearly experiencing, but they just turned it on. They found another gear. And I don't know, like, I don't mean to say that it was good for Liquid to be down a man, but it looked good again. It looked like Liquid got fiery and aggressive again. That kind of play style that's been working for them throughout this stage and throughout this matchup.
Yeah, you could tell with that lack of grenades to clear anybody out of kids, it did look like Team Liquid were a bit desperate, but luckily Paluh was still able to just slowly thread the needle from big window and find that quadra kill. A really impressive round by him overall. And once again, being on the defense now, Los1 are looking to change up how they're focusing their, I guess, entry prowess on the attack this time, starting from a top to bottom clear. Really can't fault them since Team Liquid are very prone to roaming a lot on any map they play. This is probably one of the only few bomb sites you're not required to do so. And it seems like for Team Liquid, they're relying a lot more on the utility rather than initial, drone denial or hunting for that opening pick. And Lobin, getting a little bit aggressive, I suppose, with some of those Brava drones, can deny a bit of utility from those Banshees, which could potentially affect how that bunker execute could play on in the late run. A lot less info for Team Liquid to work off of. And on top of that, it's also going to allow that bunker control a lot faster for Los1 as well.
Well, the early round, the mid round now underway. Los1 getting these hatches open, giving themselves some options. The only hard breach being brought right now is the 4 secondary hard breach charges in the pocket of both Dots and Rise, but that's plenty of utility here, especially since there is no sort of hard breach denial on the form of Team Liquid. The Kaid, the Electro Claws banned, so nothing that you can really make work here. All that Liquid need to be wary of now is the fact that every single hatch is opened up, and Los1 have a lot of options about how they want to get down to this first floor, this basement site. Nesk needs to worry about the pressure coming from behind the Monty. Maya just straight up wins that gunfight, but they're going to push on. They're going to push too far, in fact. Both Dash and Maya will drop. Beautiful C4 from Paluh. Dots is gone too. The Monty does not stand a chance, and Lobin, the last player standing, isolated here in construction just outside of bunker. There is no option for him. Team Liquid, they hold it down when it looked like the Monty push found some purchase. It simply doesn't matter. It'll be Paluh to find them all and to close out the round with a bang.
9 kills in the span of 2 rounds in a row for Paluh. What an impressive performance by him. And just being in the right place at the right time with the correct operator as well. Having the Warden sitting in that iconic corner, as it's usually called now, for supply room, completely stopped all of that space you can make with the Candela. Something I talked about a lot during the execute phase is having those Candelas used by the E-Box hatch specifically, so you can push people back from both pillar and also, again, the bomb site itself from the E-Box position. So with there already being a couple of attackers by pillar, clearing that position out with the Montaigne, you just have to focus on where someone could be sitting by supply room. But unfortunately, that was Warden, the direct hard counter for that position. So having Paluh eliminate all of the attackers pushing in from E-Box, that also allowed him to up the ante over by pillar. A perfectly placed C4 also stopped everyone from getting a bit deeper in through pillar. That leaves just the bunker attacker left alone, and well, the rest is history for Team Liquid as they are slowly closing this gap, now transitioning on their defensive half.
Liquid, a good start to kick things off. Really good discipline to shut down that Monty when it looked like it may have worked for just a moment. I mean, Los1, they did get Maya right behind Dots to get that kill, freeing up their access into pillars. Little did they know that Paluh was ready. More than that, he was hungry for some kills. He found them all and put Team Liquid into a great spot. They're not going to be in a great spot this round, though. Losing Volps within the first 30 seconds. Volps not having as much luck in this second half since the rehost compared to Paluh. Again, look at that, 9-0. Everyone else on Team Liquid, not the same success. Resets is the only one other than Paluh with a kill. So good start for Los1, exactly where they want to be. Still a lot of work to do.
Nice impact trick for Nesk, forcing a couple more Selmos to be deployed over on the main breach closet. Lobin almost losing his life from a really long angle across the map from T3, but that also gives away the rest of Los One that there is someone at the top of the big tower, maybe giving a better chance for Los One to win that engagement across the map. Montaigne looking to get aggressive by Bolo, but now he has to be concerned about the attic wall as well, as it gets opened up by his teammate just behind him, that being Maya. So now there are a lot more opportunities here for Los One to get aggressive and push into the bottom site with the help of this Montaigne.
Yeah, Dots is deep in this site already on the default plant spot. Nesk, he knows he's got to step up. He does just in the nick of time, denies the plant, and actually gets out of there alive. Resets, gets another. Dots is now getting torn apart from behind. Team Liquid doing such a good job right now of collapsing on this site. The big problem here is that Rise is not in a good position to support the Monty. Thankfully for Dots, he will rotate over and try to challenge onto Resets, but simply not enough support from the Buck to make that happen. Rise is now the last player standing, and Team Liquid are looking ready to tie this one up. It'll be the bear trap to do it, and Liquid, who do it again. The Monty tactics from Los One, they 2 rounds in a row, where they initially started out well, but Team Liquid, they had the perfect counter in place.
And unfortunately, not enough players to help assist Dots immediately. Like you mentioned, Jonah, there was only the Ace of Maya playing right behind him from Trophy Room. There was no one playing on the main breach to stop someone like that Azami of, I believe it was, what, Nesk last round, to just walk through the rotate by top white and just push the Montaigne away on top of winning that gunfight right next to Maya, I believe, as well. Not only that, but Nest specifically, again, we've talked about right tools for the job several different times. Having those Kiba barriers to make sure no one can, get aggressive by white stairs, work for a trade, that also allowed a reset to happen for Team Liquid. So after they get that man advantage and after they force the Montaigne in yet another uncomfortable position, no one can help assist him. It just rides across the map by Addict. And again, you mentioned it perfectly. He's just too far away to assist Dots. He's isolated, stuck in Kid's room. No chance he's getting the plant down on such low HP and no one to help him out. And like you mentioned as well, Jonah, things are tied up now for Team Liquid as they are really putting on a performance against Los One's attacks.
Yeah, just like that, since they were able to secure that second round on their own attacking side, they've quickly put themselves into that even 4-4 position. Exactly what they needed to do immediately to get that momentum back, to put themselves in, well, better than fighting shape here. We knew it would be tough. We knew it would be a big challenge for Los One on the attacking side, but given their performance in the first half, I really expected them to come out swinging. Maybe we'll see it here in round number 9. They know what they're working their way into. It's a unusual setup now that they're dealing with in small tower on the kitchen and dining side of things. They've got to deal with those Kiba barriers from Nest, and they've got to deal with, well, some Capcan traps as well. A bit of an extension coming in from Lagonis. Volps also trying to get in the face of this attack. He's got those black eye cameras and got a bit of intel to work with. So playing here in showers, supported by Paluh, supported by resets, they've got a lot of territory to work with.
Oh my god, just the maze of Kiba barriers inside of small tower. If someone tries to rotate over there in the late round, it's going to be a pretty difficult position for anyone on Los One, even if it's someone who could theoretically destroy those Kibas, since I believe there's a bit of utility stacked up around it, like some magnets put on during the prep phase. So for Los One, trying to avoid small tower by all means necessary could be the right idea, as they're primarily focused on this top floor, spotting out a few Capcan traps. And with the lack of vertical in a timely manner, with Rise being a little far away from his teammates, they're going to actually bring out a couple of Selmas to get these angles opened up. Rise eventually is not too far behind, so I can imagine the Skeleton Key will rip and tear through these floorboards. Yep, seeing exactly that by Rise, and also 2 charges deployed as well. So the vertical coverage, it's there, but trying to force out these small extensions in the first floor, that's going to be a bit more challenging for Los One, as there really isn't a huge emphasis on site presence properly because of this vertical, I would assume.
Well, right now, they're making a really smart choice in not going into small tower at all. They saw the threat, or they have identified the threat at least, and so they know that they should focus on kitchen, ignore dining, push from the back, see if you can get that meeting wall open. And right now, great job securing that control, but only 30 seconds remain for them to get the job done. Volps from behind, easy kill onto Loben. Dash is no more, as Nesk will collapse on him. Here comes Maya, but simply blindsided by Paluh, who gets 2. Resets with the final kill, and a flawless round, a flawless retake for Team Liquid to get themselves their 3rd round in a row. Beautiful stuff.
And again, not having anyone by small tower, having that lurk of Lobin sniped away as well by Volps. It's just the hatch drop. It's just the raw execute from the vertical play, working down from both the hatch directly into sight and maybe someone pushing in from white stairs towards security. Team Liquid understood that, and they perfectly halted it. And this is what I was hoping for by Los1, taking a timeout right after they see every single bomb site played by Team Liquid. It might have made sense as well to maybe have it called after kids, since you could be expecting either meeting room or dining, but being able to guarantee how Team Liquid are defending on that tertiary bomb site as well, it also gives you even more chances to win one of these impactful rounds. We haven't seen any success so far by Los1 in their second half. They need to find a way to get that spearhead going, both probably on kids and dining room now, since laundry is usually the most defender favored bomb site, period, for Oregon. So now having as much bookwork as they can get against Team Liquid to maybe win those next 2 round wins is quintessential for them. Again, especially since they already lost their map pick of Theme Park, and they have to give it their all here in Oregon.
Now after the timeout, Los1, they know exactly what they have to deal with. This basement defense again for Team Liquid. The Monty from Los1, an unusual staple for an attacking team here on Oregon, but it's something that Los1 seem pretty committed to pulling out. I'm not sure how I feel about this again, John, and maybe we can talk through this here, because while Dots has found some success getting into the site, we've seen him in the site on both rounds where we've seen him on the Monty, we haven't seen really any good team play around it. No real success there.
And now implementing a Goyo and, again, the Azami, there are a lot of one-ways you can create that's going to stop a Montaigne from just walking through either bunker or walking down, big tower stairs like we saw last time this bomb site was in play. So not really changing a lot to their composition. In fact, almost bringing a carbon copy of what we saw last time Los1 were attacking this bomb site. It seems like a major red flag against Team Liquid, who have opted to also double down in response to this composition, bring out even more utility. So in case there is a Montaigne afoot, and in case there is a big execute focused comp, they can stop it even better.
Maya here, throwing out a drone. Trying to get a bit more intel of what they're dealing with on this top floor, but you still see, I think that's Volps in position to potentially contest this entry. He'll drop away to meeting, take a further step back, and thanks to some good coverage by Team Liquid, they're not dealing with any early attackers on the cutoff. As I say that, though, Dash will sneak his way in, the Nook doing exactly what she is built for, sneaking in through kitchen and getting a surprise kill onto the Goyo. Liquid, for most of the round until this point, they had that coverage. They had what they needed to prevent a play from the Nook like that, but this time it fails.
At least starting off on the right foot here for Los1, having the Twitch drone creep in as well. Remove a couple of Vulcan packs for the late round. That's definitely going to be impactful, especially since we're bound to see another E-Box execute with the help of that Montaigne. Dash holding a really important angle as well, really trying to tease out resets to push into him against that SMG. Reset's now tagged a little bit. He has the hatch to fall away, but he wants to get aggressive here, but they don't know about Nest's position. The perfect bait and switch after the Montaigne is gone. Brutal. They fall away and steal a massive kill.
That's a huge kill. I mean, you're bringing the Monty. Your attack is relying on that brick wall to spearhead that attack, John, and now you've lost it. You've lost it simply due to a lack of information. 50 seconds remain. That is plenty of time at this point, given the amount of control that Los1 have, but oh, that's a tough loss. Dash is low on HP. They've got 3 full HP attackers around the other side, but still, this is not going to be easy to push their way through. Nest has to be careful of this angle, and from behind, Lobin will take the fight and win it. Paluh falls to that nade, so it comes down to resets and Lagonis to win this round for Liquid if they want it. Shotgun in hand, around the corner, an elbow. Stuns come out, flashes from the Candelas, but no action, followed up immediately by Los1. They've got to make a move on now, and they will. Resets dropped, and as Lagonis tries to go for the wide swing, the flank around and pillar, he is also shut down. Los1 off the timeout. They will do it, and they'll tie us up at 5.
luckily able to start out on the right foot for a good portion of time, and surprisingly enough, not just fall into the same trope that we see a lot when attacking the base 4 bomb site, not just putting everything into an E-box execute. Sure, they had people pushing in from, blue bunker, and there was someone backstairs in the late round to eventually get control of pillar. It wasn't just that. You still saw a huge emphasis on Freezer, despite Dots dying there as Montaigne and being kind of null for that round because he got caught off guard by Ness being so aggressive. But again, having someone else push in from Freezer afterwards was still very important for Los One as they completely dived bomb onto Team Liquid and had a lot of long crossfire setup. So if we saw a trade happen like we did for resets, because Los One have the man advantage and have all those other positions in their back pocket, they can still keep the man advantage and make sure Team Liquid aren't going to score match point after Los One went for kind of a, I wouldn't say a desperate timeout, but a timeout they did need.
Ooh, but look at this, John.
Yeah, this is wild. A blitz.
This is interesting. So they've ditched the Monty in favor of the Blitz, now bringing out the Thatcher as well. Now that could be a lethal combination. Try to send in those EMPs, maybe prevent, in theory, that should prevent Paluh from using his goggles, right? That should maybe limit the Warden. Again, that's a very specific situation that has to happen for that to work. But it's possible. It certainly is. Generally, though, if you're playing a shield, the Monty is typically a greater asset than the Blitz. It's so hard to get that shield working well. It's so hard to coordinate that with the rest of your team. But again, if Paluh is not alive when this execute comes around, I'll already give this one to Los One because you've got the combination of the Ying and the Blitz to make this one an absolute disaster for the defense down below.
Not only that, but depending on where Volts could be playing at as well, to make things a little more challenging for Los One bringing out this Blitz. A bit of a gamble, perhaps. But hey, at least they're not trying to bring out the Montaigne once again, as that has backfired for the most part for Los One's attacks. Double hatches being opened up by these X-Kairos charges, and Rise probably following suit, getting the E-box one opened up if that's still required by them. And just a matter of moments, we're seeing a little bit of utility deployed by backstairs. The Banshee now removed, and maybe any ADSs / Magnets. Well, it would only be Magnets since the Jaeger is banned. So now it's going to be a little bit easier to walk down backstairs in the late round, which again has been a position that Los One have tried to cater some of their attack towards every single time this base 4 bomb site has been in play. But the same thing can be said for Freezer now.
Well, it's great use of the EMPs. That's just right there is textbook. Don't have to use any flashes to burn it. You just have one nade, and that nade is enough, assuming it has an EMP around it. Here comes the attack that Los One have been waiting for. It's Loben on the hatch. EMP goes in. Make that 2. Candelas to follow on the other side, and now the all-out onslaught will begin. Dash, though, is the first to fall. Loben sneaks in from behind, though. Should win this fight in Freezer, and he does. But what's the price that he pays? 2, now 3 of his teammates have dropped. He falls soon after, and Maya, who needs to make more of an impact here on the attacking side, is all that remains. Sneaking around the other side into Gold Hall, and 1 kill is found, to be sure. But with 30 seconds, the diffuser out of pocket, 3 defenders left to find. Now this will take a miracle. Got 1 defender in bunker, the other in pillar, the other tucked safely in E-box. Oh, and the C4 from Paluh just to drive the knife in deeper. Team Liquid, they deny the Blitz Ying shenanigans that Los One tried to bring out, and they will be the first team to have their eye on match point.
And again, it's the space that the Blitz can make, but if no one else can play off of it, that's kind of the problem. Those 2 entry kills that were found by Team Liquid, I believe a little bit closer towards both Freezer and Laundry, that left Loben very isolated, and with him not having anyone to really back him up. Sure, he eliminates the smoke, but now he's stuck in closet. You got a backstairs attack that's pretty well read by Team Liquid, since they've kind of done process of elimination on every other position that Los One could be approaching from. So they smother the Blitz, who's still stuck in closet, and then just focus on E-box drop and backstairs. And with still having the smoke and Warden alive, it's fairly easy to counter that against Los One. And once again, they better not be bringing out the Montaigne, Jonah. I hope Dots has opted to go for something else, because once again, it hasn't really worked a single time against Team Liquid. They've been pretty well prepared against it. And if not, they've just found ways to make the Montaigne null. If no one else is there to assist him, he's just kind of a walking mountain.
Yeah, let's break this down for a quick second here. So we saw the Monty in rounds 1 and 2, again, thinking about the second half. So round 7 and 8, round 1 and 2 for Los One. We also saw it on round 10. Now, in round 7 and 8, they worked their way in, and the Monty got into the map, into the site, and in some cases had a chance to get the bomb down. Liquid were ready for it, and they denied it both times. So partial success, but at the end of the day, overall failure. We saw it again in round 10. Los One did win the round, but had nothing to do with the Monty because Dots was the opening death. That is not telling you that the Monty is a success. So sure, they've had some initial success getting into the site with the Monty, but that's just about it. You're losing a gun. You're giving Dots a shield, but taking away his ability to impact the round outside of that. And so far, it has not paid off. We need to see them. I mean, this is serious point. This is a risky time to pull out the Monty, but they're doing it. So we've got to see them find some success with this right now.
I believe the first set of hard breach has been destroyed. Another EMP to follow up. Not another impact grenade. So the wall has been opened. Potential to walk into the bomb site and get that plant down is now completely there for Los One. But the rest of their attack is still going to take a little more time. It seems like Loban's anticipating someone to peek out from the top of T3, but that's not going to be the case as of right now. No one's even by Big Tower currently. It's the rest of Los One now focusing to maybe get Trophy Wall opened up so they can put more pressure down in Attic for the tail end of it and the front side. And Loban almost scores an opening kill against Next, but luckily he can evade that and still have his Kiba saved up for the late round, but I think he's actually burned out, so just kidding.
Yeah, Neskus barely avoided dying to the big window, but still alive and a nuisance for Los One to deal with. Dots is not going to be able to get into this site securely, assuming that Nesk is still alive here. He is trapped in the corner, though. Loban knows exactly where he is. Did he just get out? There's no way. Loban, I mean, looking away at the wrong moment, allowed Nesk to just narrowly escape his field of view. And he is now in a fighting position. Oh dear, resets. He does it with a beautiful C4. There goes the Monty, yet again useless. Rise gets 2 though, but Volps is still here. Lagonis another. It's a 2v3, Los One on the back foot. Another body here in Attic. It's 3 for Rise. He needs to do it all now if they want to take this. Loban has a position on the big window, but is it enough? Great shot there from Nesk. It's all over unless Loban can do anything about it. And in round 12, Team Liquid will take the win here on Oregon. And in what might be their finest form yet, Team Liquid will now take this fight to the international stage. We'll see them in Copenhagen.
A valiant attempt by their opponents of Los One, I've got to admit, but still a few underlying issues that Team Liquid were able to capitalize on time in and time again. I'm not going to